What's up, guys? My name is Brandon. We're back here with another little project. Got a 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe, leaking oil, fuel pump issues, limp mode. So I was looking this engine over a little bit. I think this is going to be kind of annoying. It's got valve cover gasket leak for sure. We can actually go take a look at it now. So let's go. So it's pretty much coated in oil, and the main issue beyond just there being an oil leak is like when you're driving it, when it warms up to temperature, the smell coming through the air vents and stuff is it's pretty gnarly. I do worry that, so the person who owns this also has like a pretty young kid, and this is like a family hauler vehicle, so I kind of, I'm sure it's okay, but breathing in all that nasty burning oil and stuff, it's there, it can't be good for you, right? So that's kind of the main thing. And then the fuel pump issue, parts, I still need parts to come in for this. It's kind of getting down to the wire a little bit. Parts usually show up pretty quick, but I've been waiting about a week at this point. So I don't want to like fully start pulling stuff apart until I know kind of like a good timeline. But overall, just honestly, mainly so I don't kind of forget how everything goes back together. I took some pictures and stuff, but like there's quite a bit going on in there. I want to make sure that everything gets taken apart and put back together properly, and all the nuts and bolts are all in the right places and everything. And I kind of worry that, if I spread this out over like a week, that it's going to be a bit of a pain to get everything put back together. So I don't know. I'm also kind of stupid, so that's never a good thing to add into the mix. So yeah, I'm going to kind of start ripping this thing apart. I need to get all of the fuel out of it. Anything that's, in the engine and kind of still in the fuel line. So I'm going to start with that. And then I will, I think, get into getting some of the intake stuff off. And then, because I think that'll be pretty straightforward to get put back together. And then we'll just kind of see how much I get done today. It's finally nice. There's still quite a bit of snow out there, but it is in the 40s today, and then should be in the upper 40s and 50s a little bit later on this week. So, I mean, that's going to feel like tropical compared to what we've been having. So, yeah, let's get started. All right, so I pulled the fuel pump relay, and we are gonna kick this thing on. First thing I want to show here is there is gas inside, or the gas tank is at least halfway full, but it always shows up as totally out of gas, totally empty. So what we're gonna do now is start it up, let it die, and then just keep kind of churning through the starter, making sure that all the gas is totally out, all of the fuel. So here we go. Start up and die. That was quick. Start it. Good. And then one more time just to be safe. All right, we should be good to go. All right, so here's kind of an example of what I'm talking about. So I pulled off this splash guard underneath, again, because I'm trying to figure out where this exhaust leak is coming from, and we've got a couple different styles of bolts that like held this in, and that on its own isn't hugely difficult to keep track of. You can label stuff, and or I can just remember that these two were at the back, these what's 5 we're at the front, but it's like you mix that in with just every other little different bolt that's in here. It just kind of starts to stack up and take away some mental space from the other stuff. And then the other thing too is I'm kind of behind on my editing. I haven't started editing the Mazda vlog yet, but like I was running out of space on my phone pretty terribly, and then just kind of going back and forth and in between getting the files transferred over. I already know for a fact I'm missing a few videos just due to kind of sloppy file management practices, whatever. I deleted some stuff before I should have, before it got transferred. But anyway, so I'm trying to maybe not record so much of the busy work. I need to see, because that Mazda vlog, I think, had a good amount of talking to video montage, of work and stuff. I don't want it to just be all montage, that's kind of lame. I think it'd be better if it's more talky. Yeah, more talky. And then I will, so I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the video flow while I'm working a little bit. So that's all just to say, I don't know how much, what the edit on this one's gonna look like. I'm still trying to figure out my flow a little bit, get my swag sorted out. So I'm gonna keep going. I've got a little bit of the intake, like the air box pulled off, the upper part. So I'm just gonna keep working, and if anything catches my eye, I will check in. All right, guys, here's the progress. Couple hours, looking good. Doesn't look that much different, but now we've produced all of these bolts, and I call that a success. Alrighty, guys, day 2 out here working on this Santa Fe. Here is, I guess I showed this at the end of yesterday, but like I said, like 2 hours of disassembling stuff, and I'll admit, like, I'm kind of farting around. I'm not, I've never worked on one of these before. So I am kind of farting around a little bit, but it just feels like it's going slow. There's so much going on, so much packed into just a very tight area here. And even just, simple stuff like getting some of these connectors off, like it just, I don't know, it's just taken me a while, but I hope today to at least get this intake manifold off and, really just kind of get everything out of the way and ready for valve cover gaskets to go in. Which one was it? No, not this one. One of these coils this one has like oil all over it. I think I pointed this out, but the battery is like leaking acid or something. New air filter though, so that's good. So I'm just gonna put on a podcast and get to work.
Oh my God! They're gonna regret asking me to go in on this one. Fun.
All right, intake manifold about ready to come off. There was a hidden bolt, like a support bracket, or I guess it's not hidden, I just didn't see it, in the back side there. So I got that off. Now we are ready to, I got all the lines and everything disconnected. We are ready to put this bad boy up and out. All right. And now we will have access to this other bank of the engine here, so we can get this throttle body, what am I saying? Valve cover gasket. Looking for a light here. Flashlight. Ooh, man. Back of the knees get sore. Working on these big SUVs. The leak back here, honestly, might be just as bad as the front. I assume, I don't know if it's really showing up how wet. Oh yeah, it is. That alternator is. That's probably going to need to be replaced at some point. But I mean, it is just soaked all the way through back here. So, let me think. I don't know what I need to think. I'll need to get a new gasket for this. Parts still have not come in yet. That's okay. We're chilling, still getting this disassembled. I think tomorrow parts will be in, which is good. I think that's a good amount of time. But overall, I would not own one of these. I would suggest you do the same. This car, I can't remember off the top of my head how many miles it has. I want to say like 150,000 or something. And it's just rough. I mean, it's in pretty rough condition. And when simple things like this happen, you would really like for a simple solution to a simple problem. And that is not really what you're getting into with this. I mean, all of these different bolts. Where was that one? I don't know. Just, they start to pile up and they're all different. It is what it is, but no good. I'm not a fan. Here's where that, oh man, little hidden mounting bracket was. And then it connects up here. I was trying to decide if it would be better to take it off from the top or there's another down at the bottom. I don't know. I thought this might be easier, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see when we get to reassembly. All right, guys. Both valve covers are now off. Looks pretty nasty in here. I cannot tell a lie. So, looking, I didn't record a lot of that, just, I feel like it's pretty straightforward stuff. Let me get this camera framed up while I talk a little bit, while I get to yapping. Oh yeah, my drum pad. So I'm gonna get to cleaning up the valve cover gasket, both of them. The weird thing is the front gasket, or the one toward the front end of the engine bay really didn't look all that bad. This rear one though is like coming out in like 10,000 pieces. So it makes sense that this one would be leaking, but kind of, same mystery thing. I don't know. And this is also just kind of fresh on my mind, I guess, because yeah, I mean, you can see this guy was cooked. I think it is just kind of like fresh on my mind because I just did this on my car and kind of had a mystery oil leak where the gasket looks pretty good. And in fact, this one, I don't know where I can put this. Maybe I'll just swivel over, or not swivel over, whatever. Here is the one that came out of the front end of the engine bay. And this one looks pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty limber. And I didn't see any obvious cracks in it. The other thing is it looks newer. So I think that one had been done. So I don't know, what exactly is causing that one to leak. This one, I have a suspicion that it is new from the factory, perhaps. So I'm gonna have some fun kind of pulling this out piece by piece. But yeah, it kind of comes back to that question of like, why is this going wrong in the first place in the one that looks good? I still need to do a little bit more research, and this is one of those things where I can level up a little bit and yeah, just do a little bit of research and try to figure out what exactly is causing that. When things look good, but that, you're still leaking oil. And I was doing some thinking too. I know, like, I want these videos to be good, but I had a revelation, which is that when I get frustrated and kind of like in a bad mood, the last thing I want to do is like go on video and start bitching about how things aren't going well. And part of that too, I think kind of comes from this like, almost like an imposter syndrome. I've worked on cars for several years, just kind of either out of necessity or just out of as a hobby, but I still don't necessarily fancy myself a professional, although I suppose I am. But it's like all these little tips and workflow things, you know, like right now, is this the best way to be doing this? You know, I want to be gentle and I don't want to like hack at this with a screwdriver, which I could, but I feel like there's got to be a better method than just repeatedly pulling on this with needle nose pliers while someone is paying me to sit here and do this. Hey, there we go. No, it worked. Maybe that's a sign, right? But to come back to the original breakthrough or the revelation is like, you know, I think it's okay to be kind of frustrated, but I don't want this whole situation, you know, of like having a YouTube channel. I want this to be positive because I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying the work. I'm enjoying being my own boss, you know, when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it does just get frustrating sometimes. And the last thing I want to do is come on here and just start bitching. You know, I don't know if that makes sense. So then I just kind of opt to like not record. And then I have no video, which kind of sucks. Woo! So I don't know. So far working on this is the first Kia I've ever worked on, like anything, you know, somewhat in depth. My mom has this is a Hyundai, whatever. My mom has a Kia, and I've done some like very, very minor small things, and she has had nothing but problems. One of my coworkers bought I think a brand new Kia Forte, like brand new, like off the lot brand new, and within a couple months, I don't even know that it was a full month, she had it back in the shop and was just out of a car for like 2-3 months, I want to say. And they were not, to my understanding, I don't want to get into anybody's personal business too much, but to my understanding, the dealership and, you know, where she took it back to get it worked on, was not very accommodating, you know, when it came to getting a rental vehicle. And yeah, I don't know. So man, just everyone knows this already. You know this. I don't care how good they look. And actually, as a side note, I actually do, now that I've like stared at this car in my driveway for like a week, I do kind of like the look of this Santa Fe. And I think, you know, obviously their new styling is what it is in the Kia and Hyundai world. But man, it's just, it's not there. You know, the engineering is just not there. They're not serviceable. They're not reliable. Everyone knows this. I don't need to tell you, but yeah, I don't know. And it has not been fun to work on. I think I did a little tour of the Bolt collection and just all the different types and sizes and just all the crap that they have like piled in. You know, it's very different from the Honda world, which obviously I knew that, but it's kind of interesting seeing it firsthand. And the memes were true. These cars kind of suck, and they suck to work on. Well, am I complaining? And also, more importantly, am I out of frame? There we go. So I'm just gonna kind of continue on. These are aluminum, so I'm gonna use some more aggressive cleaners than I would on a plastic valve cover gasket. I'm gonna throw down a tarp and get to scrubbing away, cleaning this up, and then I'll clean up the head. And I'm still stuck in four banger world, man. I love it there. I don't ever want to leave. Clean up the heads and then wait for parts to show up because parts are still not here. And this needs to be done by tomorrow. And that's okay because I think reassembly, I just got to believe reassembly is going to go a lot faster. It's kind of like on a road trip, right? The first time you take a road trip out of town, it feels like it takes forever. And then you're coming back in, you've seen everything, it just goes a lot faster. So whether it does actually go faster or it just feels faster, I have to believe it will be better. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I still need to work on the fuel pump sending unit, but I think that'll go quickly. And that's one I didn't want to have like fully torn apart for a long time, if that makes sense. That might be kind of stupid. But with having these sealant set, all the sealant set, I think this job is going to be behind schedule, unfortunately, and it's going to look more like Thursday. It'll all be done. And I have to go out of town to get a plenum gasket for the intake manifold plenum, because there is not one here in town. And I double checked the gasket set that I bought, and I think I got the one that does not have that intake gasket. So epic. We're good though. We're chilling. And I'm thinking about other videos I want to make. I want to tint my car using that static cling film. That's what I want to be doing right now. After this is done, I want to be doing this right now. So I'm going to do this. Yeah. All right, guys. Had to go do real work, or teaching. Got the kind of this rear bank valve cover on. The gasket kept falling out. So what I ended up doing was I took a little bit of my sealant and basically just like rimmed it around a little bit, some sealant on my finger to kind of tack it up to the side of the valve cover, just because it kept like popping out no matter what I would do. So it was, a little bit of a fight. I had to make sure that everything was kind of out of the way. And it kept catching on something back here. It wasn't this big obvious bracket. There's something back here kept catching. But we finally got it on. As per the instructions, I'm gonna let it sit. So you go finger tight for an hour. And then after 1 hour, torque it to spec. And then 24 hours later, it's ready to drive. So I'm just gonna continue on, knock out this front end of the engine bay valve cover gasket. And this one I think will be easier, although we shall see. It's easy to say that and then have stuff kind of turn sideways on you. But we're looking good so far, right on schedule. And then that's all. All right, guys, quick check-in. Both valve covers are on. I'm kind of racing against the clock at this point, so I'm not going to fiddle around too much with the recording. Both valve covers are on. Each of these have 18 and 19 bolts respectively. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 on the front bank, and then 18 on the back bank. We're moving on to replacing the floats in the fuel pumps. This one I already got done. And then just moving on to this one here. They have these little pop outs that you can use, but it kind of leaves it a little bit obstructed. So I just did go ahead and cut away at the carpet. I know that's kind of ghetto, but about to pop this one off, and then we will check in here in a little bit. Yeehaw. All right, guys, heading out to Gardner, Kansas to pick up an intake plenum gasket. I did not realize that I did not realize there was not one in town. So this is about a 40-minute drive, but this car has to get finished today. It simply must get finished today. So we are heading out to AutoZone. I called to make sure the part is there. So we're gonna get this gasket and then start really buttoning things back up. I said a quick prayer. Like I said, I don't know if you're a religious man, but we're heading out and we are gonna pick this up, head right back, and then start buttoning up the rest of the car. I think now we'll see whether this is hopefully the audio on this isn't too terrible, but I think this would be kind of a nice time to just talk a little bit, talk through the process. So yeah, this car has just kind of sucked to work on. Like I said, and like I also said, double said, I don't want to bitch too much, just because, that's the work and that's the job. It ain't an easy job, but someone's got to do it. Or what did Mike Rose say? It's a dirty job, whatever. So yeah, it's just I'm still a little bit worried about getting everything put back together. I saw a video, and homeboy actually, there's a trick you can do where you do like a cardboard cutout for all the bolts and stuff. That would have been a good idea, but I did, just kind of
In 2 kilometers, take the exit onto North 300th Road.
I don't know if that picked up. My map's talking to me, but I did I took some pictures and stuff of the process along the way, so I'm really not too worried about it. I really hope that when I go to put the key on and or put the key in, crank it up, that it actually cranks. So I got my first turn coming up, so I'm gonna hop off, make sure I preserve battery for maps. But yeah.
Use the right lane to take the exit onto North 300th.
All right, gasket secured, headed home. Here we go. Got everything all put back together. Have a few things I need to do to button it up. I'm gonna ruin the magic a little bit. I did actually try to start it already, and it did start up. Gas gauge is like flicking up and down. I don't know what that's all about. Hopefully that kind of straightens itself out. Maybe it's like calibrating or something. But it does start up. I want to make sure not to run it too much, because I can only imagine how much crap has gotten into just between having the intake manifold off and the valve covers open, all that. It's probably not too pretty oil wise right now, but I do want to let it circulate just a little bit, let the filter pick up any last little junk before I do an oil change. I don't know if you can see that gas gauge. It's like kind of going up and down. Not too sure what that's all about, but otherwise it's on. We'll do an oil change and then get it returned.